My name is Mike Killian. I'm our Vice President of Client Relations at Mvix. I've been with Mvix for just over 7 years now, and prior to my tenure in the CMS space, I was an audio-video integrator. For several years, I worked both in the B2B integration space as well as the consumer integration space, and it's been very exciting to watch digital signage technology evolve over the decade plus that I've been exposed to this type of solution. As we see the technology evolve, we also see the market and use cases evolve. One usually follows the other, and it is a cycle, as we can all imagine. In this type of context, I think that the cloud for digital signage CMS vendors has arguably been the biggest development in CMS technology in the last 10 to 15 years. The fact that customers can now use web-based solutions like the exhibit signage CMS from Mvix to disseminate content across different regions, different countries, different continents even, makes it that much more of an impactful technology in today's communications world. What we're looking at here today is how to leverage the Mvix CMS exhibit signage on top of the BSN.cloud infrastructure for easy, streamlined deployment of licenses, provisioning of licenses, and content management in a remote environment, especially for those enterprise projects which require several hundred or several thousand players across the organization. And for the folks that are integrators in the room and aren't aware, if you're working with Brightsign media players, you're working with the best in the market, hands down. A little bit of background on Mvix and kind of where we fit into the CMS ecosystem here. Mvix was originally founded in 2005, so we're one of the older CMS vendors in the space. Originally, we started out working mostly on the hardware side of things, integrations with screens, integrations with other media players, manufacturing some of our own video wall components and aspects along those lines. But in the last decade, our primary focus has been on the CMS itself, and our solution is a web-based content management software, which we'll talk about shortly, better known in the market as exhibit signage. We do have a fairly large footprint here at Mvix. We have 3 global offices, including our HQ here right outside of Washington, D.C., where myself is based, as well as our US-based solutions consultant team for anyone that has questions or inquiries about projects. And we're just shy of 100 team members globally with clients in over 29 countries. So for any folks considering deploying Brightsign solutions with the Mvix CMS on top, your technical support teams here at Mvix are available 24/7 for virtually any region that you're considering deploying in globally. If you have any questions, please take a look at our case studies online for some further info on some of our global as well as regional and even localized deployments across different industries. For folks that are newer to digital signage in general, I wanted to give a very brief refresher on how this technology works as an ecosystem high level and how Brightsign and Mvix partner up to deliver quality content out to digital signage deployments, whether it's one screen or 10,000 screens or anywhere in between. So being a cloud-based CMS vendor, our software, of course, is hosted online, which means that your clients or your content management team can log in remotely. You can upload content to the cloud. If you want to keep some of your content on your local area network, you are absolutely able to do that. That's a question we get very frequently here at Mvix. So any proprietary content or content that otherwise you do not want to put out on the World Wide Web, you do not have to with our platform, even if you're using the cloud-hosted software. Once you log into the Mvix CMS called Exhibit Signage, from there you will go ahead and schedule content, templates, playlists, etc., out to your various media players in the ecosystem. Those players have a heartbeat, as we call it, when you're running our firmware on top of the Brightsign application. And that heartbeat allows the Brightsign players to check in frequently with our cloud, looking for updates to the firmware, looking for updates to schedules, updates to content, possible emergency alerts that need to go out in a few seconds. So anything and everything that you're scheduling out to your digital signage deployment, that player is checking for updates to in its heartbeat. And that heartbeat varies. Sometimes it's every few seconds, sometimes it's every few minutes, but usually it's very, very rapid because we want you to be able to get content out quickly, especially in the event that you have an emergency alert or something else along those lines that needs to go out rapidly. From there, what happens is the player will download the content, it will store it locally, and it will continue to play back that content repeatedly from the hard drive where possible, from the disk. And we do that for 2 reasons. Number one, we want to minimize impact on the local area network at these sites. So we prefer that one-time data transfer model where possible versus ongoing streaming or continuous streaming of that content. Secondly, and arguably more importantly, we like to have redundancies built in so that if your network goes out at your location, whether it's the subnet or the entire LAN or perhaps even your global LAN, you are still displaying most content appropriately. So those are the two main drivers for why the players are downloading that content. And this type of platform, for anyone in the IT security space that's wondering, is fully a pull model. There are no push methodologies being employed here. One thing that you'll notice as well is that the Mvix CMS is fully capable with the vast majority of Brightsign hardware feature sets, including various deployment methodologies when it comes to portrait versus landscape, touchscreen versus non-interactive, video wall setups versus individual display setups. We even leverage the exciting functionality of the XT1144 and allow you to capture a HDMI input and scale it down to your desired size and put other content around it. So for the most part, anything that the Brightsign product set is capable of, the Mvix CMS can leverage as part of our software application. And if you're not familiar with Brightsign, it's a great time to explore their product set and the wide range of feature sets and capabilities that are being offered currently. So one of the questions we get here at Mvix is, how easy is it to actually provision media players with the Mvix CMS and deploy them, especially if I want to do it remotely, especially if I'm working with multiple devices. And for those that are new to BSN Cloud, you've probably seen Bright Author in the past. You've probably worked with it and a lot of the awesome features that it's capable of. But BSN Cloud, as you're most likely aware, is a little bit of a different deployment methodology. And it's a very exciting time to be a CMS vendor right now in the digital signage space, because tools like BSN Cloud allow end users as well as integrators to achieve significantly larger deployments than previously available, as well as much cleaner and more streamlined workflows for getting content and getting software out to those deployments. So if I'm a user of BSN Cloud, or if I'm an integrator and I want to deploy the Mvix CMS to a variety of players, I no longer have to be physically on site to do that. If I'd like to, I can. I still work with some integrators where the requirement is to be on site for the actual provisioning of the players, and that's still, of course, an option with Brightsign. But if your goal is to install your players, to walk away, and then to remotely provision the players with the Mvix CMS, that's capable as an option in just a few clicks, and we'll show you that here. Currently, I'm logged into my BSN Cloud account, and if I want to provision my players, I can go ahead and hit my admin drop-down here. I can go to device setup, and I can select on the left-hand side the partner application that I want to provision these players with, in this case, obviously, the Mvix Exhibit Signer CMS. So in a matter of several clicks now, I have the ability to deploy the Mvix CMS to my Brightsign players remotely. I can do it to multiple or individual players as I see fit. You also have the option to set up a profile which can be applied at scale to multiple players. So as you collect and collate the various serial numbers for the Brightsign players that you're deploying, if you'd like to plug those into BSN Cloud, with one click, an entire profile, for instance, the Mvix CMS, along with other network settings and idle screen color, et cetera, those can be deployed en masse to the Brightsign players that are going out in the field for your particular deployment. So as you can see, BSN Cloud makes it very easy and streamlined to deploy CMS vendors, as well as different types of content and network settings across large deployments or small deployments or anywhere in between. A couple reasons why you would want to consider leveraging the BSN Cloud methodology of deployment for a digital signage CMS. Number one, obviously, is player activation. So being able to do that remotely versus having to be physically on site on the LAN. Some of the features of the Mvix CMS are designed for remote control and remote management, which we'll talk about later on. But partnering out with the BSN Cloud application allows you to take a fully hands-off approach if you want to, versus being on site, especially for those projects where you're talking multiple or dozens or potentially hundreds of sites. So that's what we're looking at there. The bulk activation aspect of it, being able to deploy one set of standards, one set of configuration components to these players and to the respective CMS firmware on top, I think is a huge value add. And then also the real-time diagnostics of a platform like this, where you can see remotely, but also in reasonably real time, how your players' health are looking, how the entire network is performing, if you have any red flags or any issues that you need to look up. So a lot of reasons to get excited about BSN Cloud and sign up for a free trial account of Mvix if you haven't done it so far. If you're new to Mvix, there's a couple aspects of our workflow here and our solution set that I think make us a very unique CMS provider. For a lot of projects where there's no integrator in the mix, we do have options where you can actually source players, you can source screens and other hardware components, including the Brightsign players from Mvix if needed. Now, with that said, we prefer to work through integrators. So where possible, we like to link clients up with folks in their area that they've either worked with in the past or maybe they're new to, but an integrator is always your best friend and your best bet for deploying this type of technology. But if no option exists, if you're a client and don't have a relationship with an integrator, we can link you up with one, and there's other ways to procure as well. Currently today, we are the only CMS vendor that offers a cloud-hosted solution of an enterprise caliber at a one-time cost option. We'll talk about pricing models here in just a moment, but it is possible to get a license for the Mvix cloud-hosted CMS on a Brightsign player or series of Brightsign players at a one-time cost, which makes it very attractive for smaller projects and obviously reduces barrier to entry for folks that are new to digital signage and maybe haven't proven the full ROI of an enterprise-side license with enterprise-side features yet. Mvix CMS exhibit signage has won multiple industry awards recently, including back-to-back Infocom awards for Best in Show, mostly centered around our content management workflows. So when you do get your free trial account or your free demo account of Mvix CMS, you'll see workflows like uploading content and automating that, creating playlists, creating templates and editing templates, even in a touchscreen environment, are very, very easy to use. And even the most non-IT savvy end users see success with the Mvix exhibit signage CMS. When it comes to project management, if you're not working with an integrator who's familiar with content creation, we do have a content creation team here in-house. Our project managers are PMP certified, which is exciting, so it's very easy for us to partner with your integrator of choice or your distributor of choice and execute your deployment, whatever the size. But if you do need help with content, we are one of the few CMS vendors that offer an in-house design studio with graphic designers, project managers. We can do a variety of managed services for you as well in terms of editing content, proof of play reports, and things like that moving forward. So you're not in this alone if you're an end user. You do have a variety of avenues or channels that the Mvix and Brightsign teams can assist you in executing your project successfully. And then from a cost perspective, which we'll talk about momentarily, we have a variety of different pricing plans, which make it both affordable at scale, as well as a low barrier to entry and foot in the door for folks that are new to digital signage and just kind of trying it out to get it started. If you take a look at our deployment scale here, we actually break down projects into several different sizes. So small projects where you're doing maybe one restaurant and a couple menu boards, or perhaps one location with a few digital billing directories, or a small office setting, a small healthcare facility setting. Typically, we take a look at 4 players and under for that price bracket. Our medium-sized projects, these are clients that are doing somewhere between 5 and 50 players, maybe multiple restaurants in a small chain, maybe a small hospital, an office environment where you have 30 screens or 40 screens around the water coolers. And then our larger projects are enterprise customers where we work anywhere from 50 all the way up to 5,000 or more screens as part of the deployment. So our core package, which is very, very popular both in North America as well as other regions like Europe and Latin America, offers this solution at a one-time cost. The core license is very exciting because you get a lot of the remote management capabilities of the Mvix platform, a lot of the core functionality of being able to manage media players, BSN.cloud, et cetera, all at an affordable one-time cost per license. And we do offer bulk discounts on those as well as multi-year contracts. So taking a look at our standard licensing, which is our pro package, this is where we offer over 200 pre-built integrations with third-party platforms. So these are different apps like local weather, traffic, certain types of social media integrations, certain types of employee communication-based integrations, a lot of API calls to third parties for different types of data, scheduling tools, et cetera. The pro package has over 200 of these pre-built integrations where clients can leverage different types of apps to create layouts with different zones, use some enterprise level management functionality, and that is your traditional CMS licensing option where you're paying an ongoing cost typically per player per month. We do offer multi-year contracts and discounts for the pro package as well. And then for our integrators that are working on enterprise-grade deployments, we do have a premium option. This is typically custom pricing for larger deployments that require enterprise-level functionality, and we start to step into the realm of requirements like two-factor authentication or single sign-on or content approval workflows or emergency alert workflows, leveraging, for instance, the HDVI input on the 1144 XT player. Typically, the premium package is what we set up as a custom kind of contract and package for most of our enterprise In the event that you're unsure where to land, contact one of our solutions consultants. We'll get you a free trial for a couple of weeks. You can see what features you need and what features are maybe good to plan for in the future for your deployment, and we'll take it from there. So we have talked a little bit today about how to deploy the Mvix exhibit signage CMS across BSN Cloud, including a quick screen share. Please feel free to reference that screen share in the future for any folks that are looking at deploying this and maybe forgot how to do so. We talked a little bit about our pricing models, including our exciting one-time cost option for the exhibit signage CMS, which is groundbreaking. We also talked about our dealer registration program for any integrators, resellers, and distributors that need to register an opportunity with Mvix. And then we also went into a little bit about what makes Mvix and the exhibit signage CMS a very unique value proposition in today's CMS space. So thanks for joining, folks. If you were in on today's live webinar, for those that listen to this in the future, again, thanks for your time. We hope you had some great takeaways from today's discussion. And again, folks, any questions that you don't get answered today, please feel free to reach out to the Brightsign team or the Mvix Solutions Consultant team at mvixdigitalsignage.com. Have a great day, folks.